Hi, I'm Deborah Becknell. I'm co-owner of Allergy Navigator and also co-producer and marketeer. This is my partner, Dana.
Hi, I'm Dana Mohan. I'm the writer and educator and certified life and health coach for Allergy Navigator.
And we've come together today to make some fun candies for the holiday season. We made these actually during Christmas, and we wanted to share with you how to make them. Maybe you might want to do that for Valentine's Day as we're getting ready to celebrate. So we thought this might be a great recipe for you guys to use that's allergy friendly. The ingredients in this recipe are the Merkin's Super White Chocolate. It's very, very good, and the quality is very good. It's an allergen-free facility that we found, and we just order it in bulk like this. And then we found an organic desiccated coconut, which just means it's really a fine grain, so it just makes the consistency inside, like you don't get that big chunk of like a Mounds coconut piece or whatever. It's more like powdered sugar consistency. And then the Eagle brand milk, Land O'Lakes butter, and then powdered sugar. And we're substituting, the recipe actually calls for fondant, dry fondant. And I went to many stores and online retailers, could never find one that was allergen friendly with no gluten and that kind of stuff. So, or tree nuts, I think were the two big main issues. So we substitute for this, which is an ingredient that actually makes it taste a lot better, we think. So now we're gonna mix together the ingredients.
And the butter has to be room temperature?
So yeah, so I set it out early this morning.
Okay.
And then you mix it with the Eagle brand milk until you get a nice creamy icing type consistency. So we're just gonna put it in now. And when you start to mix this, if you don't want poof, a bunch of smoke to blow up, you have to go real slow until it starts mixing in. And then you can turn it up a little bit higher.
Good point, because I would have just gone in all gung-ho. What kind of consistency are you working for here?
Really just same thing. It just makes it look more like icing because powdered sugar, it really just starts making things creamier, and it takes a long time to really get thick. So what seems to make this a lot, see it's just a little thicker like icing. It's starting to look more like icing.
Yeah.
And then when you put this in, it really,
and this is the coconut.
This is the coconut, the desiccated, and it's really fine. It's just a little thicker than the sugar.
And how much was that, 4 cups?
Yes, it was 4 cups.
Okay.
Really, you're just gonna mix it till it starts kind of sticking together and make it like a clunky ball, kind of like when you're making bread and it starts forming together. Everything's kind of rolling together. So we can see how it changed the consistency, and it's like this. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna clean the paddle off and get it in here, and then we're gonna let it sit in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes and check it. And if it's the consistency where it can form a hard ball, then we'll start doing step 2 of the recipe so you can see what's next. So here's what it looks like, the consistency. You can see that it's pretty thick, and then when we put it in the refrigerator, it gets stiff enough that actually it'll form a pretty hard ball. So when I set it in the refrigerator, I'm actually going to cover it with some saran wrap and let it sit for about 15 to 30 minutes. I'll check it, and then when it's ready to make balls, we'll get it back out and get started.
So this is actually, how many is this? Is this 16 ounces? This
It's
is 1 cup.
Yeah,
This is 8
1
ounces.
cup. So we'll need 2 of those in each bowl. But it's really easy to do. So when we get ready to heat this up, we're just gonna put it in the microwave that first time for 25 seconds. And then in each interval, we're gonna be stirring in between so that it doesn't get burnt. It's a nice mixture, and it actually helps it to melt quicker. So it'll take like anywhere from probably 6 to 10 rounds of 20-second intervals after that first time.
Okay.
So we'll keep it melted and get it ready to.
And you were telling me something about this chocolate. You had said that during COVID, everything shut down.
Yeah.
But what was it that you were telling me about it?
Yeah, so this particular chocolate was my favorite, and we had a local candy store. Well, during COVID, that candy store shut down, and it was just really hard to get candy ingredients. So there was 2 or 3 other stores in town that were really 20, 30 an hour away, and I actually drove, but each one of those stores, the chocolates that they provided were cross-contaminated with tree nuts, gluten, and other things. So I would always leave so disappointed driving, an hour away thinking you're going to get your favorite chocolate, but just couldn't have it. So that's when I started. I just didn't want to give up. Family favorite, I wanted to enjoy it too. So we, found the resource from the actual supplier, and they actually sell it in 5 and 10 pound bags. And
is this where you get it, the Stover company?
It is.
Is this days old Play-Doh, or is this new Play-Doh consistency?
It's days old. Well, actually, I would say it's been setting out for a little bit, so it gets a little more stiff. So you're gonna fill up you're gonna take, this is a melon baller, is that what we? A melon baller, and we like the melon baller size just because it's a 2-bite experience. So if you actually want your treats to be a little bit smaller, where you just put the whole thing in, you could actually get a smaller size, but this is the one that we like. And you just reach in here, you're gonna fill it up like this, and then you're gonna put pressure on the side of the pan so it makes it cleans off the excess.
Okay.
And then once we get these all out on the tray, we'll set them back in the refrigerator.
Right.
And for about another 30 minutes.
Practice.
And then we'll clean off the edges and stuff at the very end, so we don't have any wastage.
Okay, so you said you put it in the refrigerator for 30 minutes?
Yeah, usually anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. You just kind of check it. You just want to make sure that when you roll it, that it keeps that pretty stiff consistency. That way when you drop it in the chocolate, it doesn't just fall apart in the chocolate or break up. It holds itself together.
How many is this gonna make?
Probably around 60. So actually too, like you know, if you leave it in the refrigerator too long, you can't really leave it in there long enough. So say you have something you have to do, and you set this in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, it gets a little bit stiffer, but it's actually easier to work with, other than it uses a lot more of your muscles.
So would you just set it out and let it come to room temperature, or what? Just
Yeah, you want it to be pretty cold and pretty hard. It actually makes it easier to deal with. Like what we're dealing with right now it's still a little bit soft. Like you could, I mean, it still does a nice job. The melons look actually, melon bites here size look really good, but they're okay. All right, so we're gonna cover these again with the saran wrap or the seal wrap, and then put them in the refrigerator and let them get nice and stiff again. Probably take like 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll dip them, start melting the chocolates and dipping them.
So here they are, all rolled out. And then Deborah is covering them with, this is parchment paper, right?
Yeah.
So that they don't stick to it.
So like a wax paper, and then this is just like a Glad wrap or something, and we'll put it in there. Just kind of keeps them keeps them protected in the fridge. Okay, so we're back, and we've actually got these out. They're nice, the right temperature and everything, so they're gonna be nice for rolling. And so if they're not too sticky, you won't have to use cornstarch. So, but if you find that they're sticking to your hands, you can just, you know, apply a little bit, about this much amount, roll it in, just kind of get it where gives a little coating there, so it keeps it from sticking. So like you pick up one, and you're gonna roll it kind of like you did when you were in school, making like your little balls with Play-Doh. So it's just like a soft, gentle, you don't want to press too hard or it'll change the shape of it, so you're just rolling a ball. And it really should look like a little snowman ball, making a little snowman.
So just a moment ago, she was teaching me how to do it, and I rolled a square.
So that tells you like she's applying more pressure, like using more muscle. So it's just very delicate, very light roll in a circular motion, and you're going to get that perfect shape snowman ball. Look, that's perfect.
Oh, see?
Yes,
You're a good teacher.
So you just try to get through these as quick as you can, and then when we're done rolling all the balls, we're going to put it back in the refrigerator for maybe say like 10 minutes, just long enough for us to melt the chocolate. So we have our chocolate ready here in the bowl, and we're going to show you next the process for that, because there's a little bit of a process. It all starts going really pretty quick for the rest of it.
So why can we not put these in the freezer to make them cool faster?
Well, so like when you get your chocolate melted and then you dip them in there, when they actually, like you won't even notice it at first. They're going to be really nicely coated, but after they dry, it'll crack. It'll make a big crack down in your chocolate.
Oh.
So it won't be that smooth, beautiful, professional looking.
So you have to just be patient.
Yeah,
And go step by step.
Yeah, get the right temperature on everything, and then you have like the perfect candy.
Okay.
We're gonna melt the chocolate, and I'm gonna give it to Dana, and we're gonna put each bowl in and kind of rotate, so we have 2 bowls to work from. And we're gonna put the first time in 25 seconds. We're gonna get it out and then stir, and then repeat for 20 seconds until they're completely melted to the right temperature consistency.
So
for coating.
While we're heating this up, you were telling me about how you need to not look at the chocolate to know that it needs to be stirred. or that it's done, you need to actually stir the chocolate because it can be tricky.
Yes, because I think you're kind of tempted, like, hey, let's just put it in there for a minute, but then that kind of gets it all heated, like it heats it differently, and then it doesn't act as well. So like it kind of either gets too hot temperature-wise, so it kind of really messes up how the balls turn out, how they look. If you heat the chocolate too much, it actually gives it like a really dry, pasty look and that kind of stuff. It's not pretty and shiny when you get your final product.
Okay, so this has been in for 25 seconds.
Okay, so we're gonna stir. It doesn't even look like it needs to be stirred, so it's still chip form. But when you look down in there, you can kind of see that it did something. You gotta keep it stirring so that it all keeps the same temperature in all of the chips, and then you don't have one that overcooks and then one that doesn't.
Right, because of the way the microwave works, as we all know, it heats from the inside out. So these little ones are carrying heat on the inside. So it's important to keep moving them around.
Yeah, so they're all the same temperature, yes.
So this is going to go back in for
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
So yeah, it's
Okay,
like
so
a lot of in and out. Like it seems monotonous and like it's.
I'll give you this one.
Okay.
But it's not 25 seconds.
Yeah, now it's 20. And so after about the 6th time, you'll really start seeing them making progress. So we're just gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can't even really tell it did anything, but
no,
you'll start noticing the next time.
You can see it didn't really, but you can see that they're starting to get shiny, whereas they weren't shiny before.
Yeah.
So you know something's happening. All right, so 3 seconds here. And then look, this is what it looks like when it comes out. You think, oh, it's not melting.
Yeah, but when you start stirring, you'll start seeing that it's making a little progress. It did something. So you're just gonna take a ball, and if you feel like it needs to be shapen up, and I think ours still look really good, because you just drop it in. You're gonna take your 2 fingers and roll it so that it's completely coated, and you're gonna rake, and then you're gonna drop it, and you're gonna do a little design on top.
Oh, okay. So drop it in, move your fingers,
Roll it around.
roll it around.
2 fingers. Leave it open so that when you rake, it actually does come off a little bit better. So any extra little coating on here, a little design that you want to make. So it's like art class. Okay, so we're finally wrapped up all this project and have like lots of nice candies. And then here's the pretty packages that we put them in before we give them out. And if you want to take the lid off, I can kind of see how it. Yeah.
Oh, look how pretty.
So such a nice gift if you want to gift them to somebody, but all of these we get to enjoy just as nice gluten-free, tree nut-free, allergen-free treats for the holidays to share with our family and friends.
You got one?
Yes.